Today I will give a short talk on seasonal rainfall forecast, which is the project I just finished and submitted the draft final report to the Thailand. I just show you this. This is the weather map from the Thai Meteorological Department of DT this morning. So you see, this is what we call monsoon trough. This is the band that you have everywhere here. Is a band of cloud and heavy rain. This morning we have a low pressure center located over northeast Thailand and another one in the Bay of Bengal. And over the northern Thailand you have high pressure coming. So it's dry and cold, but not that cold, but it's also starting to approach winter in Thailand. Another website that is I want to show is the satellite image from Japan. Yeah, this is the last frame will be this morning. This is the tropical cyclone that made landfall in northern Vietnam and just dissipated because of the intrusion of cold and dry air. Okay. This is how we do the weather forecast. We look at the weather map showing the surface pressure, temperature, and other things, and also the upper level, and also the satellite image. But to make a seasonal forecast, we cannot use this kind of data. So, go to my slide. This is my top seasonal rainfall forecast. Of course, I have a GTC, but right now I have a center called Research Center on Seasonal Weather Forecasting funded by TIF. This center set up as the MOU between KMUTT and TIF. TIF will support the funding for 3 years and also KMUTT, but so far I did not get anything from KMUTT. So, okay. And as I mentioned just now that for if you want to do seasonal forecast, you cannot use the data of today or yesterday. We say that the atmosphere has a really short memory. So what happened 6 months or 9 months from today is not related to what happened today. So you have to use another kind of data and another kind of model to do the forecast. In general, we can classify the seasonal weather forecast into the method, into 3 methods. The first one is a statistical method. And this method has been used for summer monsoon forecasting over India for more than 100 years. Even today, they still use the statistical method, but their statistical model is really complicated and has to be changed every 2 or 3 years because they found that the statistical method is not valid for a very long time. So they have to keep updating. Interestingly, in India they have official forecast like in Thailand, but they also have a company that do the seasonal weather forecast. And during the past few years, they beat the Indian meteorological forecast that will also happen in some other developing country. But today, the official forecast is better than the private forecast for the first time. Okay, they use statistical method, but different model. Another method is what we call dynamical forecast, that can do the climate change forecast and also can do the seasonal forecast. But this model is very complicated and require very high performance computer, or we call supercomputer. So if you look at the top 500 supercomputer in the world, about half of the top 10 supercomputer will be used for weather and climate forecast, and about another half is for military, like nuclear weapon or energy, nuclear simulation, something like that. So in Thailand, we have this model, but just for daily weather forecast. The computer is not big enough, not fast enough. So in developing country, they don't have capability to do the climate forecast by global climate model. We have to base on the other center, like from US, European, and or Japan, or even China. The third method is a combination of the statistical method and mathematical method we call the hybrid method. What I'm going to do today is just show you that I use the hybrid method to do the seasonal rainfall forecast for Thailand. And this is my topic. It's based on the report I presented to DIF about a few months ago. The objective of this project is actually just the development program for this seasonal rainfall forecast for Thailand. The technique that I use is called the downscaling. But there are so many methods for downscaling. What I use is called analog downscaling. And if you do the forecast for a very long time, you have a prediction that your forecast will be wrong, because there are infinitely many possibilities to happen in the forecast. You started with one observation or one initial data, you end up with only one forecast. To correct this, not correct, just to improve the forecast, what we do is that we do the forecast for the same day, but starting from different initial conditions. Okay? That's called ensemble forecast. Why developing country still cannot run the model for the dynamical forecast. Other developed country, most of the developed country, they do the ensemble forecast. This means that there are a big gap between seasonal forecast among this developing country. So I said this about, I think about 25 years ago too, when I was working in TMD. I told them that one day we have to buy the forecast from other countries, and this happened right now. The European Center for Medium Range Weather Forecast offering weather forecast for any country with the price depend on the output of the model that you want to use. And Vietnam already signed the contract to buy this weather forecast. Why in Thailand they are not interested? So this already happened. And if you ever look at the software for the mobile phone, you can see that there are a lot of weather forecast software. Okay. So what I am doing this is not just to be the best in the world, but just try to apply the technique to the seasonal rainfall forecast. forecast. And this technique has not been used before. The combination of downscaling and analog and ensemble forecast. So my team is from TND. Okay. They are directors of some division. Okay. This is for convenience to get the data without buying it. Okay. So this is the analog downscaling. The concept is if you forecast if you make a forecast for a few days in the future, rainfall is very difficult to get accurate forecast because rainfall is what we call a discrete quantity. It's happened and then some is not like temperature or humidity that is continuous variable. But rainfall is have a lot of variability in terms of quantity and also timing, also the area. So it's very difficult. So the global climate model cannot predict rainfall very well. We have to apply statistical method to improve the forecast from the global climate model. So the concept of analog forecast is to use the large scale weather forecast like temperature, humidity, wind, okay, and then try to find the day that we have, the day in the past that we have similar pattern of parameter. Okay. And if we find that day, we call it analog day. And then we use rainfall for that analog day to be the forecast of rainfall in the future day. This is a simple. This concept is not new. This has been used but manually for more than 50 years. Okay, but today we have a computer that is not expensive, so we can apply this concept using computer. So I got the forecast from the climate model from National Center for Environmental Prediction, or NCEP. And this is called NCEP Climate Forecast System. And this is the system that can do the forecast up to 9 months in advance. Okay. The parameter I select are all the predictors that I use for the downscale or for the analog forecast is the incident pressure, temperature, humidity, and wind at 850 hectopascal is about 1.5 kilometers from the surface of the Earth. And this is the forecast. We need the data in the past, so I use the data from NCEP climate forecast system also. But this is the archive of climatological data. Okay. So we use the forecast from CFS-V2 and find the analog day from CFS-SR. Why I don't use the Thai data? Because Thailand climatological data only cover Thailand. So in this method you have to look for the pattern that cover not only Thailand but the surrounding area also. So I have to use the global climate data. Okay. Now, if you find the analog day, we don't use the rainfall from the climate model because the rainfall from climate model has a poor accuracy. So I use the real observed rainfall from Thai Meteorological Department. So from the global model, I can zoom in at the rainfall of the station. So this is some kind of downscaling, so I call it analog downscaling. Okay. The problem is that in Thailand there are a lot of missing data, so I cannot use the whole data the whole 100 station. I have to select only some station that have a complete record for at least 30 years. Okay, as I said before, we have the NSAID climate forecast system analysis. This is for the climatology data or the data in the past. Is one of the most reliable global climate data set, and they have the high resolution 4 times per day. Okay, and the resolution is about 50 to 50 kilometers. The data is from 1979 to 2010. Okay, and another one. This is the climatological data. And it is the forecast data. It has better resolution. Okay, about 25 to 27 kilometers, but we have to use the same resolution. I have to use the same resolution for the climatological data so that I can compare it. Okay. And this model include atmosphere, land, ocean, and even deep in the soil. So it's a complete climatological climate model. Okay. And do the forecast. The model forecast for 9 months every 5 days. And in 1 day, they run the forecast for 4 times, every 6 hours. Okay, so we can see that a lot of information is available. This is available online. But the problem is to download it. You need a very fast internet. So I spent, this project is about 2 years. I spent about 15 months to get the data completely. Okay? And unfortunately, KUTT internet is very frequently just disconnected. So it's a problem. And resolution is about 100 kilometers. And this is the TNP range station. Okay? The complete 30-year record, we have about 80 stations. So it's not complete the 30-year rainfall data. We have about 80 stations that cover the 30-year period, but only 30 stations that have a continuous, no gap in the data. So how to compare the similarity between the forecast day and the day in the past? This is one method. This is the method I use. Is just look at the forecast. M is the predictor. M can be temperature, humidity, pressure, and so on. You look at the forecast and also the climatological data, and you find the difference. Okay, and you do this for every point in your domain. So this is suppose this is today, T is today. This is suppose I forecast for, let's say, 1st January 2016, and then I have to look at the 1st January of the previous 30 years. So for every big point in the domain, this is 1 day comparison, and I also use the yesterday comparison. Okay, so I use 2 days. Okay. But in fact, this can be 7 o'clock in the morning, and this can be go back 6 hours. So data T doesn't have to be 1 day. It can be 2 days, 6 hours, whatsoever you want. But in this formula, I use every 6 hours. So I forecast. I use a forecast that provide for every 6 hours. So in 1 day forecast, we have 4 forecast per day, and we use all those 4. It's a subtype of ensemble. Based on this formula, this is an example of the forecast. I use the past data. Okay, I forecast the temperature, and June 1st, 2010, and I look back to the climatological data 30 years, and I found that the base match is this day, June 1st, 1992. So this is the similar, we have similar pattern and similar maximum or minimum value. So if you want to have a better analog day, you have to go back further more than 30 years. So this is analog day. So to forecast the rainfall for June 1st, 2010, I use the rainfall from June 1st, 1992. But the rain is come from TND station, not from the climatological data of CFS. So it means that you use last scale from climate model, and then the rain that you want to forecast or you want to downscale come from the station of TND. So by this case, we downscale the 50 or 100 by 100 resolution forecast to the resolution of the station, which is usually about 50 kilometers or less. So that is just one day forecast. And then I said the forecast, suppose this is the initial condition and this is the forecast. Let's say after 3 months. So the real world or the truth is just this one. This ellipse represents error or possibility that the data can be. There is error in initial condition or observation because of instrument error or transmission error or everything. So what you observe is cannot be real. It's just one possible initial condition. So if you use this initial condition, you end up with this forecast. If you use this, you end up with this. And you will never know what will be the real. Because in this case, the truth is that this one. The truth is not accurately observed. So you cannot get the accurate forecast because your initial condition is already wrong. So what we do, what we call ensemble forecast, is that we use several initial conditions to generate several forecasts and find the statistical values or statistical mean or deviation or whatsoever probability. So today the forecast, ensemble forecast is done for seasonal forecast in several countries. They use 50 initial conditions. So they have 50 members. Imagine that one forecast for 1 day is take about 30 minutes in Thailand. So if you do the forecast for 9 months, that's just one initial condition. But they use 50 initial conditions. Imagine how fast the computer has to be and how big the memory they have to be. So it's beyond our economy to buy that kind of computer. So I use this and then I do the forecast for the summer monsoon from 15 May to 15 October of, not call it forecast, but it's just like simulation because it's already happened, October 2010. And use initial condition from 1st to 31st January of the same year. So it means that the forecast from this one is about 9 months. And use observation from TND 30 rain station. And this is the output. I do this for 30 stations. I show you one good forecast and one bad forecast. This is at Lampang. The summer rainfall for 2010, the observation is 735.5 millimeter. And this is a normal year based on 30-year statistic. So you can see that this is the forecast for different predictors. If you use pressure, you come up with this. This is the amount of rainfall classified into interval. Each interval is about 100 millimeter apart, and this is the this is the probability. You can see that pressure here, red. If you use moisture, the forecast will be blue. If you use temperature, it will be gray, and if you use geopotential, which is related to wind, it will be yellow. You can see that different predictors give you different forecasts, but if you combine this, this is a combination of 4 predictors, you come up with this one. And in this case, the forecast is correct because the observed is 725, and the forecast is about between 700 to 800, so it's okay, correct. But look at this one. This is Phuket. This is the very wet year for Phuket. The amount of rainfall is almost 2,000 a year. But in forecast, the most the highest probability is just a few hundred. So in this case, the forecast is wrong, totally wrong. Okay. In addition, you can see that the distribution of forecast in this case is very wide, okay, from a few hundred to several thousand millimeters. But in the case of Lampang, the forecast is has less deviation. Okay. So you can see that for this year, the forecast for Phuket is very poor, but for Lampang it's good. I think that because this can happen because the global model did not see Phuket. Global model is the resolution is very large, about let's say 100 by 100 by 100. Okay, but Phuket is smaller. It's not on the point of the model. So actually, in the model didn't see Phuket but see the ocean. So it's starting with wrong input, so you come up with this one. So I can see that there is a weak point or disadvantage of using the global climate model is that you can see a very small area. And for the correlation, if you look at all the stations, 30 stations, and use look at the forecast, the correlation of forecast and the observed rain. If you use mean sea level pressure, the correlation is about 0.7. If you use moisture, it's about 0.6. If you temperature, about 0.8. And geopotential is about 0.8. So in practice, the forecast that has the correlation better than 0.6 is acceptable. Okay, so in this case, it's all acceptable. But if you combine all the forecasts from various predictors, you come up with a little bit better correlation. This is a 30 station forecast. This is the amount of rainfall of the observation, and this is the amount of rainfall from the forecast. This is just a scatter plot, and you come up with a correlation as high as 0.06. Okay, but this looks good, but practically is no use for practical use for farmer because this is for the whole country. It's look really good, but if you suppose you are in Phuket, and it's totally wrong. So this is how you interpret the results statistically. It's look very good, but if you look at this, it's not applicable. Anyway, from this I have learned that most of the seasonal forecast by this method underestimate the observation. So if I classify the rainfall into normal year based on 30-year record, normal year represented by 0, the dry year represented by negative, and the wet year by positive. During the about 30 years of the simulation, there are 8 years that are normal. The forecast come up with 6. There are 7 years with dry condition. The forecast is 22 years. So it's like this. So you can see that is underestimate the observation, especially when it is a dry year. Let's say, for example, when it is a wet year. So in this case, the rainfall is above normal, but the forecast come up with only 2 years. Anyway, this is just the first step. We have to do a lot to improve this, but there is a good potential to further develop this. And TIF has asked me to develop this further with a separate project, but they still does not give the funding. So it's just an idea. In this case, the new project I have to work with the user, like the Agricultural Department or Ministry of Agriculture, so that I can identify what exactly the type of the presentation of the forecast, what the user wants. And I have the idea for future work. The work that I have been done is just find the analog for the same day. Let's say I forecast for 1st June this year, I look at 1st June of the previous 30 years. So I plan to do this. A comparison should be not only 1 day. Let's say 1st June forecast should be compared to 1st, 2nd, 3rd June, and also 29, 28, 29, and 30th of May, something like that. Okay, so you have more climatological data to search for analog day. You will get better analog day, and the result of the forecast should be better. And the weak point of this scaling method is you cannot forecast the extreme value. You can be forecast well for the normal value, like you see in this case. So I think we have to apply statistical technique for extreme forecast in the future of this. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Dusadee, and apologize that I didn't give your introduction.
And I just, I'm not sure if I understand, some of your slides precisely. I mean, when I take a look at the title and see that it says like ensemble, analog, and the method itself, and ensemble, analog, am I right? And but the way you have calculated and show to us here is one single case of an ensemble of predictions.
So the question is, how is ensemble?
What do you mean by ensemble?
Ensemble is, in this case, you can say that.
Oh, I see. It's a set of.
Only to find the analog day for any particular day I use today, and also in each day I use 4 forecast products, so it's totally 8 products.
Oh.
And beside that, I do the forecast for. I use the forecast for the whole month of January. So it's actually, to find the analog day, you use 8 forecasts per day, and you use 31 forecasts, so it's 31 by 8 forecasts combined to the analog to find the now to find the anomaly. So I don't have enough time to talk, sorry. But a lot of work is, a lot of time is spent in searching the anomaly. We have a huge database, and suppose I start with the initial condition on 1st of January. Okay, I have 8 forecasts to search for analog. So I have 8 analog days. And then go on until 31st of January. So a lot of analog days. And then all these analog days, I select only one. So,
and you use the minimum.
Yeah, use this
Okay.
formula.
Minimum distance.
Find the minimum D. Another improvement can be changing the what we call this now, how to find the minimum distance. This is just a simple technique. There are a lot of complicated techniques that should provide a better focus. But this project is to prove the idea that analog dust scaling is practical. Okay.
And I have the last question, which is this formula. Well, I mean, I think it is. I'm not sure how you handle inconsistent dimensions of variable. Have you considered normalization in this?
I didn't do any QC because all the model output from the methodological data is already QC, and just use as it is. I don't adjust anything.
I mean, the units. Suppose that you have, since you have temperature, mean sea level, and
each parameter is just compare among itself.
Okay.
But each parameter, each predictor will provide you different parameters. And that is another ensemble.
I'm not sure my understanding is or not that your forecast the day on 2010, and this is just like to prove the methodology behind it in order to make forecasts in the future years.
Yes. Yes. Because I cannot use a real forecast because I have to wait another 5 months.
Yeah, but it is my logic, because I understand that the seasonal change is not depend on the historical data, it is also depend on the methodological information in the future as well. I don't know, and when we forecast in the future year, you have to put a lot of information later on, or what should be the methodology?
Yeah. It's the same instead of it's the same as this one. Instead of 2010, I can start from today. I use the product from today and forecast for 2016. Okay, suppose I wait until the end of this year and then I do the forecast for summer rainfall for 2016 using the same database. Unfortunately, the database is up to 2010 only. So, but the forecasting can be anything. Okay, but this is limited by the forecast from the USA. They have the 9-month forecast. And they suggest that don't use the first 3 months forecast because the model is adjusting. Anyway, there are a lot of questions, as you said. Suppose I start from, I use 60-day initial forecast. How should be better or worse, I don't know. Like this. So there are a lot of questions that has to be answered. And I said this look good, this particular simulation, but I'm afraid if I change again, maybe it's not good. Yeah. Anyway, this is the concept.
So it's still
I'd like you to go back to the slide of the output of your simulation when you look at the no, this one. When you look at the analog, when you search for the analog day, with colorful load map.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So, because I actually didn't catch the full explanation, for you, the fact that you matched the analog day of June 1st with forecast of June 1st, 2010, the meaning.
This is the forecast, and this is I searched for this pattern of moisture in the database, 30-year database. It's come out with this. The base match is it, but you can see there is no minimum here, but there is maximum here. But the area is not quite the same. But this is the best they can find. So this is the limit.
Yeah. In this sense, actually, do you still estimate the uncertainties, the difference between the analogs that it finds and between the analog that it finds? The analog is the real measurement, right? This was in the measurement reports, right? What is the percentage of confidence?
I didn't look at that, but okay, I did not look at that. But sometimes the base match is not good. Yeah. But you see, the concept in weather forecast is that there is no 2 days that are exactly the same. Suppose you have, I can answer this. This is the base match for, this is analog day using temperature. But the analog day for temperature maybe another year, another month. So this is the uncertainty. So that's why if you look at single predictor, it's not so good. But if you combine like the error cancel out something like that. But as I said, this information is no practical use.
But this is also resulted from different days.
Yeah.
The analog they different.
Suppose like this one. Suppose I come up with June 1st. If I use pressure as predictor, I can come up with maybe August of 1070 something, right? Yeah, something like that. So I look at it, and the surprise is so distributed. I think the one reason is that the resolution of the calculable data and the forecast data is not high enough. But again, another factor is how you optimize the area that you look for the analog. It's another issue, it's another project. So a lot of questions.
Okay. I think it's about time. Thank you very much, Dr.Dusadee. I think that a lot of information, even I myself, learning that for the forecast tailor, because a lot of data, this can be a big data. As we are very popular in the world, big data at this moment, and the data is, to have a forecasting is very difficult, and I think very much difficult than the fortune teller, which they didn't need any big data. So you very much for today. And next week you will have Dr. Atikong to talk on, I didn't know the topic yet, but it's actually about the HUHNC. Okay, and for those who would like to contribute, you can sign your name in the contact group for signing your talk. It could be any topic, right? You just change and experience, and I would like to encourage the researchers who have their research project in the hand. You can focus on so that you get to know more of who's doing what. Okay, thank you very much for today. Shall we give our appreciation to Dr. Dusadee once again?
Thank you.